Hey everyone, in this tutorial, we're going to be walking through QuickBooks Online at a very high level. We're going to be signing up for the simple start plan. So we're going to sign up for a free trial. And then I'm going to walk you through just how easy it is to link your bank account, upload transactions, add invoices, and some of the other basic functionality that is available with this plan. We'll also be looking at some of the financial statement reports and how easy it is to pull something like the profit and loss statement and how to update some of your other basic settings. But overall, I just want to give you a sense of just how easy it is to sign up for a trial in QuickBooks and navigate through the system. So, with that said, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is head over to quickbooks.intuit.com, then head over to plans and pricing. And then you'll see these four options here. Again, these might look a little bit different based on where you're accessing this from. But for me, these are the four options available. Make sure that you have this toggle to the right where it says free trial for 30 days. Once you do that, go ahead and select the simple start plan. This is perfect for those who are just getting started. You can choose one of the other plans, but I'm going to choose the simple start plan for this video. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to continue without payroll. And then as you can see here, because you're on the free trial, the total due today is $0. Next thing it's asking for here is for you to enter your email address, phone number, and password, and then create an account. So go ahead and do that. I've already done that step, but go ahead and do that. One thing to note on the next screen, it is going to ask for payment information. Don't worry, they're not going to charge your card or anything. That's only if you go past that 30-day trial period. But I'm going to be showing you how to cancel the trial at the end of this video so that you won't get charged. But yeah, you will have to enter your payment information. So go ahead and do that. Once you've done that, I'll see you on the next screen. Okay, so once we do that, we can just kind of skip through these screens. Just go ahead and click on next. We can put in a name for your business. Just do that. Click next. You can just go ahead and click on nothing. I'm just getting started here. You can just skip through these. I'm just going to go ahead and fill out any selection here. You can go back and update these settings after the fact. This is just supposed to be a quick tutorial, so I'll skip all this or skip whatever I can. Keep going. So skip for now. Skip, and we are almost done. Oh, okay, here we go. Nope, skip for now. There we go. Okay, so once you get through that questionnaire, again, you can go ahead and fill it out, or you can just make those changes after. Click on Let's Go, and then you will be here in your QuickBooks Online instance. Okay, real quick tour of what you get here. On the left-hand side, this is your navigation menu where you can track sales transactions, log any expenses, track your customers, products, and view any of your reports like your balance sheet and profit and loss statement, which we'll get to later. This button up top is essentially a hotkey to allow you to perform certain actions such as creating an invoice or adding an estimate or paying a bill or tracking an expense. So once you click into that, it will bring up a pop-up screen allowing you to enter that specific information. So let's close out of here. You've got this little search bar up top where you can search for anything really, transactions, customers, suppliers, reports, and so much more. And then on the right-hand side, this little wheel, this is your settings. This is where you can go in and modify various settings and preferences. You might want to come into account and settings and just manage your company information, name, business logo, maybe some of your sales related information, your expense related information, payment, and any sort of advanced information. For example, like date formatting and currency and that sort of stuff. Next thing we're going to do here is connect our bank account. So you'll see here on your home screen right here that says bank accounts, link your bank account. You can just click on find your bank. If you don't have that option here, you'll see here by default your bookmarks. You'll see bank transactions. So you can click there and click connect account. If you don't see it there either, just go ahead and click on transactions and then bank transactions, and then that'll bring you here to the same screen. Next thing you can do is go ahead and click on connect account. And then it's going to bring up a list of banks that you can connect to. So just go ahead and type in the bank that you want to connect to. And then as you start searching, it'll pull it up. So go ahead and click on your bank, click continue. And then this is where obviously you have to enter your username, password, or bank number and password and so on and so forth. So I'm going to pause the video here. Go ahead and enter your credentials based on whichever bank you want to connect to, and then I'll see you on the next screen. The other option, if you don't want to connect your bank account directly, is you can actually manually upload transactions. So in order to do that, just close out of here, head back to this screen and click on upload transactions. That's going to bring you here to this screen, allowing you to manually upload your transactions using either a CSV file or some other file format. Depending on who you bank with, I mean, most banks will allow you to export to CSV, but some even have the option to export to QuickBooks Online because it is quite a popular accounting system. So if you want to do this method, I'll kind of walk you through this. So download your CSV files from your bank account and then come in here and click on select files, select the file that you downloaded, click continue, and then select the QuickBooks account that we're linking this account to. So this is my cash account. I'm just going to type in cash, click continue. And then just go ahead and fill out these options. Like, is the first row in your file a header? Yes, no. In my case, it's not. How many columns show amounts? So I'll do 2. And then what's the date format used in your file? So just make sure you go in and select the appropriate format. And then go ahead and link up the field. So basically, the first thing it's asking for is in QuickBooks, the date field, which column should I match it up to in my CSV? So I will match that up with column 1, which is the date, description, which would be column 2 in this case, amount, money received, in this case would be column 3 for me. Again, it's going to depend on the bank that you export this file from. And then for money spent will be column 4, or sorry, it's a reverse for me. So it's column 4 for money received and column 3 for money spent. And then check number optional, I'm going to leave that blank. Click continue, and then you'll see all of your transactions appear here. And then you can decide which ones you want to import in. So I'm just going to go ahead and select all and then click continue. And it's going to import 24 transactions. Click yes. And now you can see the import is complete. You can go ahead and click done. And then it's going to bring you here to this screen. So you can review categories. You can skip this. You can do it manually. I'm going to go ahead and close this box here. So it's pulled up my first transaction here, coffee, sales, retail, and it's auto assigned it to sales. I just need to confirm that that is the case. So I'm going to go ahead and click on confirm. And then I can go ahead and click continue. So now that we categorize that one, I am now seeing a list of all of the transactions that I imported into the system. So what we need to do now is tell QuickBooks where to assign these transactions. So it does a pretty good job of identifying what's a sale, what's an expense, which category to assign it to. It also helps to identify which of these expenses are personal and not business. So let's just look through a couple of these examples. First charge here, physiotherapy for $100. It's auto assigned it to personal expenses. That's perfect. I don't want to reflect that on my business. So I'll go ahead and click confirm. And then I've got a bunch of sale items here. That's correct. Coffee, sales, retail. And then it'll give you these prompts. So if these types of transactions keep reoccurring on your statements, you can set up smart rules to auto assign it. And in my case, it always comes through as coffee, sales, retail. So I'll go ahead and click on yes, use this category every time. And then I can go ahead and click on create rule. And now it's auto assigned all of those. So you'll see like a bunch of those disappeared from my list. And then you can just kind of go through and confirm which ones are accurate, which ones are not. So this is a great example. So I've got Uber Eats and I've got Netflix here. Both are personal expenses. So I can actually just click this drop down here and recategorize this from meals to personal expenses. So I'll just go ahead and click on personal expenses and click confirm. And then I will do the same here with this Netflix membership. Reassign it to personal and click confirm. And again, you can kind of go through and reassign other expenses as needed. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and categorize these in bulk. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this check mark here, and I'm going to go ahead and click on confirm. and that'll categorize it to each of these accounts. Again, like if there are any sort of patterns here, Books is pretty smart at picking those up, and then it'll ask you if you want to create a rule around some of these. I'm going to close out of here and we're actually going to create a rule together from scratch. So in order to do that, click on rules and then click on, you'll see here that rule that we accepted earlier that's already active. But I'll go ahead and click on new rule, and let's call this rule, I don't know, Netflix, for example. So this applies whenever there's money going out of our bank account, and and then you set your conditions essentially. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and select description contains Netflix. And if this is the case, then it's an expense, but it's a personal expense. So I want to make sure that we're sort of segregating the personal and business. You can add other information here as well, like the vendor, like you can actually type in Netflix and stuff, but I'm going to leave that blank. But once you've set up your rule, just go ahead and click save, and then your rule gets added here. So this just adds to the automation. So as more transactions come into the system, it'll auto assign them based on the rules that you set up here. Okay, so now that we've done that, we've got a bunch of transactions imported in. The cash coming into the business, cash going out of the business. So in order to see this in action, we can actually just head over here to reports. And this is all real time. So if we click on reports and then profit and loss, we can actually see all of those transactions appear here in our profit and loss statement. So it shows our total sales for this period and all of our expenses broken down by the categories or the expense accounts that we categorized each of them to. And you can click into any of these line items. So I can click into this 12K and it'll show me what makes up or what transactions make up that 12K. The same thing goes for these expenses down at the bottom. Just go ahead and close that. So if I click into advertising and marketing, it'll show me all of the expenses that make up advertising and marketing. I mean, that is essentially what you'd need as a small business owner or a business that's just getting started, linking your bank account, making sure your transactions are categorized correctly, and then coming in here and reviewing your profit and loss statement. It's as simple as that. I'm just going to head back to reports here for a second. You can also see real time your balance sheet. So high level, your balance sheet is showing what you own and what you owe, essentially. So it shows all of your assets and your liabilities. So in this case, I had a bunch of money coming into the business. So that's going over to the cash account. I also bought a bunch of supplies that were reflected in my transactions. So it actually auto created this inventory asset account. So it's pretty smart about recognizing which transactions go where. If things are in the wrong place, you can just recategorize them as needed. But as you can see here, it's auto generated this balance sheet for me as well, which is super helpful. If I go back to reports, you can see there's a bunch of other reports here that are available to you. So another popular one is the cash flow statement or statement of cash flows. And again, you can see this reflected real time. If there's any report here that you're referring to more often than not, you can actually just click on this star symbol and then it'll add it to the favorite section up top. All right, so you shouldn't need to, but if you did need to add an additional account or additional accounts like asset accounts, liability, expense, revenue accounts, you can do that here under transactions and then chart of accounts. For the most part, the accounts that are here and included with QuickBooks are pretty comprehensive. As you can see, the chances of you needing to add additional ones is pretty unlikely. But let's say you wanted to rename an existing account. So let's maybe rename one of the expense accounts here. I'm just going to sort by account type. As you can see here, lots of various expense accounts already pre-built for you. But let's say if I scroll here to the search section and I type in marketing. So let's say I want to rename advertising and marketing and how it appears on the profit and loss statement. I can just go ahead and click on edit here, and then I can just rename it. Let's just say I wanted to call it digital marketing. I could do that here, and then that is reflected in my financial statements. Let's say I did want to add a new account. Go ahead and click on new, and then select the account type. So in this case, let's say I'll create another expense account, and let's just say the main category is advertising and promotional. So I'll actually just call it ad spend, click save and close. And now if I type in ad spend here in my search box, you'll now see the ad spend expense account reflected. So Now, when I look at my bank statement, I can now categorize transactions to the ad spend account. Let's look at taxes next. So head over here to taxes. Now, you can go in and enter manual tax rates if you'd like, or you can use automatic sales tax, which will determine your rates based on your business location. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So click on use automatic sales tax, update or enter your business address, click next. It'll identify the tax agency that you need to file with, and then you can select the frequency. So I'm going to go ahead and select annually, click next. And then it's going to ask, do you need to collect tax anywhere else? So if you do, select yes. I'm going to go ahead and select no. Click next and then finish. And now automatic sales tax is all set up. So let's go ahead and click on take a look. So that's pretty much it in terms of setup. If you click on sales tax settings, you can go in here and add any custom rates. But again, based on your location and agency you're filing with, taxes will be automatically calculated when, for example, you're sending out invoices or recording an expense. So you don't have to worry about adding custom rates, but if you wanted to, you could do that here. If we go back and we click into 1099 filings, you'll see those filings appear here. There's no filings to show at the moment. So now that we've added tax, let's go ahead and review this. So if we click into new and then invoice. So if I'm going to go in and invoice or send an invoice out, let's just say for an amount of $1,000. I type in $1,000 and I say add tax to this. You can see here it's automatically calculating the sales tax based on my automatic settings. Okay, but before we go too far here on the invoice side of things, let's take a step back and walk through how to add products and services. So let's go ahead and close out of there. Now, if your products and services are sitting somewhere else, like in Shopify or some other place, just head over here to apps and then add the Shopify connector, for example, or wherever else your products and services are sitting. You can just find and search for the connector. If Books is going to be your central source of truth for products and services, in order to add them from scratch, just click on sales and then products and services. And then from here, you can go ahead and click on add an item. Now, because the plan that we're on, if I just go back to plans and pricing, this is the simple start plan. So you can see like inventory management is not included. You have to upgrade to the plus or advanced plan for inventory management. That's why over here, your options are either non-inventory or service-based products and services. Let's add an example for both. Let's go ahead and click on non-inventory, coffee, beans, and you can add it a SKU. You can add in a category if you'd like, and then I'll just put a description. Put in a sales price for this amount. And then every time I make a sale for these coffee beans, it's asking me where I should attribute these sales to. So let's see if there's a generic sales account. So perfect, I'll do that. And then here where it says purchasing information, if you purchase this from a vendor, you can go ahead and select I purchased this product from a vendor. And then you can go in and add in the vendor name of who you get these coffee supplies from, and then attribute the corresponding expense account for when you make those purchases or purchase orders. I'm going to uncheck that for now and just go ahead and click save and close. And then you can see here, it's prompted you saying this item might have special tax considerations. Select confirm to apply our suggestion or skip to remove it. So I'm going to go ahead and click confirm. And then we can obviously go in and edit the sales tax information after, but I'll assume that's correct and click save and close. And then let's go ahead and add in a service as well. So maybe we provide, barista training. And then you can add in other information here. And then let's say $500. And then again, select the income account that this applies to. So I'll just go back to sales. And actually, you know what I'll do in this case? I'll do services. And then go ahead and click save and close. So now we have a couple of products and services. Let's go ahead and add some customers. So let's click here into the customers tab. You can also access this by clicking into sales and then customers. Now, this is important if you've got like recurring customers, and especially if you have wholesale or B2B customers and you want to track a bunch of information on them, you can. But even for D2C customers, if you want to track that information, you can totally do that. So you can go ahead and import customers in bulk, or you can go ahead and add customers manually. So just go ahead and click on, I'm going to go ahead and add them manually. So I'll add the first customer here, just do Pam and company name. And let's see if I can get away with that. Perfect. And then let's go ahead and, before we create a new transaction under this customer account. Let's add one more. And let's do Jim. Perfect. So this is just a way that you can keep track of your customers. And obviously, as you transact with them over time, you'll see a bunch of data related to those customers as well. So speaking of, let's go ahead and send out an invoice to one of these customers. So in order to do that, go ahead and click on New and then Invoice. And then from this drop down, you can go ahead and click one of these customers. You can modify the bill to information, of course, the invoice number, the payment terms. If they're not paying right away and they're paying, let's say, 30 days out, you can add that information in here. You can select the product that they're purchasing, the amount of that product, and it'll automatically, based on the rate, it'll automatically calculate the amount. And then, of course, we want to add some tax on there too. Once you're good there, you can go ahead and click review and send, and then this will fire off the invoice to this particular customer. And then you can also sign up so your customers can pay using QuickBooks, but we're not going to do that in this instance. We're just going to fire off the invoice, and we can obviously add in instructions identifying how they can actually go in and pay. So you can just go ahead and click send invoices. And looks like we do have to put in an email address, so just make this up here. And click send invoice. Perfect. So we just fired off an invoice. So what we've looked at so far is automatically importing your bank statements, and then those transactions appear in your financial statements automatically. The same applies for something like creating an invoice directly in the system. So if you go back to reports, and in this case, we fired off an invoice, which hasn't been paid for, but services or products have been rendered. That's going to be recorded as revenue in our books, but also be recorded to accounts receivable because we're expected to receive those funds at a later date. So if we want to see that in action, just head over here to the balance sheet, and then you can see here accounts receivable. If we click into this amount, you will see the invoice that we generated here to Pam. Okay, another example, if we want to add another manual transaction, just click on new. And there's a bunch here. We're not going to cover every single one of these, but let's say we wanted to log a manual expense. We can go ahead and click on expense, and then that'll bring up the expense screen, and it's going to ask who did we pay. So we can go ahead here and add a new payee, or we can select an existing one, select the account that we paid them from, the payment date, the payment method, and then a bunch of other information. And then we can just go ahead and put in a description of the expense. So let's say this was for ad spend. So go ahead and select ad spend, advertising expenses, so description. And then let's say we paid Jim $750 for advertising expenses. So let's go ahead and click on save and close. And then similarly, if we go back to reports, head over to profit and loss, we should see, there you go, ad spend, $750 has been recorded in the financial statements. So overall, what I wanted to highlight there is anything that you transact here in the system is automatically reflected in the financial statements. Now, if we head back to the home page, there's a bunch of analytics and reports here as well. We don't have a ton of data in here. We've just added a few sample transactions, but for example, you'll see a quick snapshot of your profit and loss, and you can hit this toggle down here and select a filter. So for this month, quarter to date, so on and so forth. And these numbers will update automatically. Your expenses this month, last 30 days, so on and so forth. Invoices, a bunch of information here from an analytics standpoint that you have access to. Okay, so the last thing I'll do is walk you through how to cancel your subscription before the free trial ends so that you don't get charged if you choose to do so. So in order to do that, just head over here to the settings menu and click on subscriptions and billing, and then that'll bring you here to this page. On the left-hand side, you'll see the plan that you're subscribed to. Just go ahead and click on cancel subscription, and then you'll get this pop-up that appears. Just click on cancel online down at the bottom, and then just simply follow the prompts. So just go continue to cancel, and then it's just going to ask you to fill out a survey. You can skip that if you'd like. And there you go. QuickBooks says that they're scheduled to cancel my subscription. So that's as easy as it is. So make sure you cancel before that 30-day free trial ends if you choose to not continue with QuickBooks Online. But that pretty much concludes this tutorial. I hope you found this helpful. We signed up for the Simple Start plan, which is perfect for those who are just starting out. I hope you got a good understanding, at least at a high level, of what's possible in QuickBooks Online and how easy it is to navigate through the system. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you found it helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.